Picking up where we left off and looking at this laundry, this is at that 7'2" height, 4 inches higher than 80 inches, with its 12-inch shelf over. And this is a 12-inch deep shelf here, and you'll have to, there's all sorts of brackets. I'm just showing these iron ones here now. But at that top shelf, so there's a 12-inch on this side, and I imagine you could just put an 18-inch on this side with those rod brackets. And if you want to just carry that same theme, I would just carry that rod, carry these rods around on this side with the 18-inch deep shelf. And definitely consider specifying what the material for those shelves is going to be. In that laundry room, AZEK would be good. But if there's some other product that you think will stand up to it, or that you have in mind, let me know, and we may as well show it on the plans as well. Or maybe this is the shelf and rod, and then this is that wire shelving, the 18-inch deep wire shelving with some sort of bracket that it uses. But these are the things to think about so that Roy doesn't have to guess at it at the time it comes to build. It'd be better just to have it drawn in and done, maybe even purchased and sitting there. But that much is with regard to that. And then this door, this is your required fire door here, so that can be wood or steel. I just looked these up. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if this is steel. It's primed. I would assume it's steel, but it is fire rated. So doors like what I've been showing in any event, which are these two panel type doors, those are available apparently like this as well. Now we will begin to look at some of these photographic representations, and each of these is going to cover quite a bit of information, and I'll try to remember why each one was added. In this one, for example, this rock is misrepresented. I think this is shown much too large a scale. But maybe I adjust that down the road. This shows that soffit though, and it shows it as full all the way down to the level of the hall ceiling. No molding is yet shown, and that is without that soffit. And going all the way up. And by the way, I don't know. And we'll do that. And then here is looking at the first interpretation going this way, and the granite is too shiny and I had to adjust that, but this shouldn't have the light of 1,000 suns down here. But I do like the idea of having a sconce or two down through this hall, and that'll make this ceiling feel much nicer and lighter and lifted. This is showing your 3 casement windows, your 3 20-inch casement windows through here. And these cabinets here are shown as 42 inches high. I mentioned this before. Eventually I will show you these at a little lower height, because at this height here there's probably a little less than a foot between the top of the cabinet and the ceiling. We have a little bit too much light here. I don't know if this will help or not in this case. Showing your, yeah, we'll leave it like that. This shows your outlets around here. Now if you wanted an outlet closer to the sink, you could have horizontal on either side, a little horizontal one on either side of this sink. And now I show this microwave, and this, what I'm showing, this microwave here is a regular like 16-inch deep, because it is taking advantage of that double wall behind it and projecting into that double wall some through the back of this cabinet. So you can have a bigger, a deeper, you don't have to make this cabinet, make the microwave stick out here on a little shelf and hamper this cabinet, and B, you can use a deeper one than normal up here in that cabinet because of that double wall behind it. And I didn't mention it yet, but if you want to widen these cabinets, you can, if you shrunk each of those by 3, then that widens these windows by 2 inches apiece. So let me know what your feeling is on that. Finally got rid of the shine on those countertops so we can see a little better. Although the shine is real in real life, I wanted to be able to see what was happening. In the next one you can see I dropped these cabinets from 42 to 39 inches high, which many manufacturers, 39 is going to be one of their standard height on most of these cabinets. This cabinet here is still shown real tall, so that's something to think about, whether you need all that up there, whether you want that to look Here I bring it all the way down where it's aligned with these here. Returning to the dog door though, I'm just kidding. We're done with the dog door for now. This is with regard to this electric meter and its location, and the electric panel and its location. And as I told you in text, I believe you can do this with a secondary disconnect on the exterior wall adjacent to that electric meter. Something like these, I imagine, are what will do it. And I wasn't able to track down the exact kind of wire a person would use. So you would have to assume some constant for the footage. It doesn't even matter because these are both the same distance in terms of how much up and down the wire has to go and how far along the wire has to go. These are almost identical distances. So in making your decision about where the electric panel goes, that much will be immaterial, and that can be just driven by your own thing. I personally like location 1 in the hall because it's closer to the dark bedrooms and closer to the center of the house. On the other hand, this here is closer to where you might be blowing fuses in the garages and working in the garage or out on this deck or who knows where. Additionally, you have to consider, do you want to cover that? I'll bet you capitalism has already invented something that very easily covers these and allows them to be accessible. So I left it at location 1 for now, apparently. Okay, next, quick little couple things here. I didn't mention it there, but if you wanted to, these range, at least the ones I was looking at, the range hoods from Benahood and many others, I'm sure. We have 7 inches back here, and it looked to me like this could be back vented through here and then up if you wanted just that range hood, and then the vent goes through and up this wall and out the roof instead of straight up and out the roof. Alternatively, if you wanted to use some of that space and kind of recess the towel bar in the bathroom some, kind of gives you a place for art above it. At least it's not wasting that space in any event. Next, we'll take a look at this view coming in from the hall or the family room with the 5-foot table shown back there, and those chairs are shown as if someone was sitting at those chairs, so that room is very nice. I think the cabinets have already been lowered in this one. We'll find out. I didn't like this at the end. As soon as I looked at this, I didn't like particularly this in any event, and we'll show some things this way as well. First of all, I guess now I added molding at the ceiling. I presume you probably want that, but you have to let me know. And I just use standard crown molding, but that caused me to lower that window another inch or so. And these are really nice. These casements do look nice from here, I will admit. But I changed this up here. I moved that soffit. This soffit that was down here, it looks all squatty over here. And I moved that soffit up, to carry the crown. And I don't know, and then I was able to increase the height of those cabinets as well. And then they just have a top on them like this here. Little coffee drawers over here. Depending on your cabinet maker, make sure. Oh, here's another thing I noticed. And here you can see what I'm talking about with this microwave backing up against that wall behind it. And it can back all the way up to the frame wall for that matter. So that can be almost 17 inches deep if the person needed it or wanted it. And it's 24 inches wide though. And this space is closer to, it's wide so that there's some blank space on the side of this, and so a person would want to consider whether they would want to reduce this Lazy Susan base by 3 inches and widen this one to 21 inches. I don't show that. That is one consideration if this wall oven is going to be used, this wall microwave, if this is where the microwave is going to be. Alternatively to that, which is what I had earlier assumed, alternatively to that, so the microwave can be located here with the things I told you about with regard to the width of this here. And alternatively, you can have a microwave drawer, which is what I've done a lot of, These are 24 inches wide, but they're also 24 inches deep. And I'm almost sure you've seen these, but you didn't mention them, so maybe that's not something you want. I'm showing a microwave drawer here, and you'll see that in some of these photos. And putting that drawer here gives this all the way back, all the way over to all storage or all cabinetry, or however you want to divide this up here. However, I mean, you can have a microwave up here, as I showed, up to 16 or 17 inches deep, and this can actually, if you're these cooking type, this can be, you know, a steam oven here as far as that goes. But right now I'm showing that as a microwave oven here, and then this becomes, beside that, instead of that 33-inch cabinet, this whole thing becomes a 24-inch microwave cabinet, and then a tray base for like cooking sheets and stuff like that, which I've seen a lot of people do that, where all the trays are right here. And then there's a couple drawers underneath that microwave. But to wrap up a few more things in this area, I almost forgot about that soffit that we talked about through there. And I was positive I would not care for it. Okay, though, to wrap up this film, which is all interior stuff, I had forgotten about this, or to show this soffit, I think, from this side, whatever I said a minute ago, which was 2 days ago. But I actually kind of like this, and I know you said you thought the stone would play better. You're probably right. You can see it a little bit more like this. Yeah, because this wall actually got moved east another 3 inches, because that fireplace allowed for it. This updates the stone as well. But I liked the versatility and that kind of up and down division that provided. But you might differ with that. This just removes that crown and just lets that stone end at the bottom of the drywall. From this section, I wouldn't have it like that. I would have it like this, again with, you know, more opportunities for ducting and so forth. But the main thing with this is we can have support beams through here. And looking from this way, there's probably a few things that I wanted to review. And I thought I already recorded this, but I don't know what happened to it. But this was just those windows. This was just these front east windows changing. What a big difference that makes. So I don't know which way you would want to go with that. That's that soffit this way. One of the things with that was I was just looking at that floor treatment where that stone dies to the floor. And I wouldn't have that shoe mold down there. That's just going to get crusty looking, I would think. I would just have that stone stop above the floor somewhere like this. And maybe the same at the ceiling if that soffit isn't going to be used through there. One thing with this to know about is that's that mantelpiece, but that's shown with that heat shift system. That's as low as that mantelpiece can be with the heat shift system, which puts a vent up here and a vent on this end and a vent on this end to move that heat away so that you can have your mantelpiece and your television lower. This just changes some of these textures. But that, if you don't have the heat shift system installed on this particular fireplace, then that mantelpiece has to go up about 7 inches. If it's a full 12 inches deep is what's shown. From this side, this was just showing that closet going all the way up to the ceiling then. So that's it for this film, which is all interior stuff. The outside is nearly complete, 90%. I still have some details that I want to work out, and then I'll put that film together. That should be over by Monday morning. We make these kind of final judgments that get us to a floor plan that's estimable and permittable, and little things can be changed along the way, but the closer we are, particularly with regard to windows and doors sizes and types, that should actually be on this set of plans, on that first set that we submit, so we don't have to horse around with changing anything with regard to those. But as I said, I'll come back and there will be a review of some of the exterior stuff next in the next film. So thanks very much, and I will talk to you soon.